Teams that won 14 games just 2 years ago don't suddenly start a season 13-2. They don't win 11 straight games. They don't post a top 3 defense or look like one of the toughest, most physically imposing teams in the entire league. But the Pistons did. And they did it while Cade, Ausar, Tobias, Ivy, Stewart, and even Jalen Duren and missed time with Ivy yet to even touch the court this season. They've kept on winning anyway. Cade is playing at an MVP level in fourth quarters, closing, was running the games out like a real superstar. Jalen Duren, too, has taken a giant leap, a leap so big that it barely makes sense. And role players nobody talked about or even knew have stepped in and changed the ceiling of this team. And now suddenly a team that was one of the worst in professional sports history just 2 seasons ago might actually be one of the best teams in the NBA right now, less than a full 2 years later. At this point, Detroit's identity is crystal clear. They defend, they'll fight you, they dominate in the paint, and they control possession. They rank second in the league on defense, holding opponents to just 109.7 points per 100 possessions. They also rank second in half-court defense with an 89 half-court defensive rating. They're also fourth in net rating at +8, and they force turnovers on 17.3% of their defensive possessions, second only to Oklahoma City. This Pistons team is built to overwhelm you. Every instead possession seems like hard work. They funnel everything toward the baseline. Entirely closed off the middle of the floor and use their length everywhere. In your face in passing lanes and on every drive, even simple actions feel like a chore against this defense. Ausar Thompson at the point of attack is already one of the best 5 defenders in the league. And realistically, he's probably in the top 3. Cunningham and Jenkins use their size to erase angles. Javonte Green brings pure chaos. And Duren and Stewart clean up everything behind them. This isn't just a good defense. This is a system intended to break your rhythm and spirit over the course of a full 48-minute game. And here's exactly what it looks like on film. Robinson first gets the turnover, some active hands, and the Pistons instantly turn it into a clean. A fast break ended in a Thompson finish. Simple, quick, and efficient. Next one clip. Jenkins flies in to break the play. Cade swoops it up in stride, immediately gets deep into the paint. Then having the court awareness to spin around and fire it out top, where Jenkins then makes the extra pass for a wide-open Duncan Robinson 3. Great defense and high IQ basketball. Here's another. Green brings that trademark chaos, forces the steal, and the Pistons are going the other way. And this time it's Cade rising up and finishing on the alley plate. It's not just the guards either. Here's Jalen Duren jumping a passing lane, putting the ball on the floor with that new added handle, and then dropping it off to Ron Holland for free throws. And then Watford tries to make the simple kick-out pass. But Ausar Thompson reads it like a book, and he's off to the races. And could you imagine if he had finished that dunk? Oh my goodness. But this is where Detroit separates from OKC and where they're still growing. They're generating turnovers, getting the same fast break opportunities, doing it all with the same chaotic defensive energy. But the execution isn't always as sharp as the Thunder. Cage alley-oop here was not the right call. And on this one, Ausar Thompson couldn't finish another break, leaving valuable points off the board. They are not quite Oklahoma City in terms of turning their defense directly into elite offense, and the execution is the main reason why Detroit currently ranks 11th for offensive rating, while Oklahoma City is 4th, and the Thunder have been doing this without Jalen Williams. So yeah, the Pistons have a little ways to go yet. Compared to last season, this is night and day. Improvement for Detroit. And the biggest breakthrough offensively has been in their half-court offense, turning a weakness into something of a strength. Last season, if you forced Detroit into the half-court, you basically won the game. They had the floor spacing, but no real shot creation outside of Cunningham. No dangerous secondary creators and no reliable way of generating appearances once the games slow down. That weakness might be gone. Detroit is now the 13th best half-court offense in the NBA with a 97.6 offensive rating. And the K Durant pick and roll has become one of among the most effective actions of the league. And this really matters because once the playoffs start, everything slows down. Possessions are more difficult to defenses load up, transition opportunities dry out, and teams who cannot frequently score in the half-court often get exposed, but Detroit might actually have some answers. Cade has become one of the most clutch players in the league. Durant went from being solely a lob threat to a legitimate offensive engine, and together, they have built a half-court, the foundation that the team never expected to have. The Pistons are no longer drowning in the half-court offense. They appear to be solving it. And with the way Cade and Durant are playing, I actually believe both of them are going to be in the All-Star team this season. For Cade Cunningham, we knew this all along was going to happen. I mean, he finished top 10 for MVP voting last season, and he entered this season as a pretty much guaranteed All-Star. And so far, he's backed that up with 27.3 points, 5.4 rebounds, 9.9 assists, and 1.4 steals per game on 53% true shooting. And he's been doing all this while struggling with his outside shot, just 27% from three. That's not possible. He's dominating games without his jump shot fooling because of the fact his size and quickness creates an unsolvable matchup nightmare. Put a smaller guard on him, and he buries you with his shoulder and strength. Put a bigger defender on him, and he goes right past you for an easy paint look. The biggest difference in the fourth quarter, he has been one of the more clutch players in the league. Every time Detroit needs a bucket, Cade seems to deliver tough mid-range shots, jumpers, drives through contact, transition finishes, or even a nasty posterizer against Philadelphia. He has straight up been in takeover mode late in games. His turnovers are also down to a career low. Even with this massive usage spike, his reads out of traps are sharper. He's processing defenses far quicker, and he's stronger, calmer, and more decisive than he has ever been. If Detroit keeps winning, Cade keeps putting up these elite numbers while getting his efficiency back to the level that we know he can reach, then he's going to force his way into the MVP conversation, likely finish top 5. A complete insane reality for a franchise that won just 14 games only 2 seasons ago. And then there's the biggest leap on the team. Jalen Durant is not just another athletic big like everybody assumed he would be. He's became one of the most efficient interior scorers in the league, averaging 20.6 points, 11.9 rebounds, 1.1 steals, and 1.1 blocks on an absurd 72% true shooting. He has dominated the paint physically, running to the rim. It protects the other end's basket and completely overpowering whoever is standing in front of him. But the real leap is what he's been able to do off the dribble. Durant is driving downhill, using face-up moves, making short roll reads, finishing through arms, and drawing fouls at a really high volume. He's no longer just catching lobs, he's actually reading defenses, attacking mismatches, and punishing teams for doubling cake. When teams blitz the pick and roll with Cade and Durant, JD catches, takes one dribble, and then he's basically at the rim where he's either dunking on someone or getting fouled. And because he's hitting about 70% on free throws, he's becoming almost impossible to scheme against. A 21-year-old should not be this efficient. A 21-year-old should not be this skilled, but Jalen Durant is. And this is an all-star leap from a player who was supposed to be years away from even having the chance to attain this level of play, but he's doing it all right now. The craziest part about all of this is how this Pistons run isn't just because Cade's playing like an MVP or Durant is playing like an all-star. It's because the Pistons keep winning even when the roster's hurt. And that has to do with the supporting cast, stepping up in a way that absolutely no one predicted. Duncan Robinson has been the perfect addition. 12.7 points per game, 42% from 3, and the exact kind of off-ball shooter who punishes teams for helping off of him. And defensively, he's actually been pretty good. Constantly jumping between passing lanes using active hands, getting the Pistons out, into transition quite a bit. Then there's Denise Jenkins, perhaps the most unlikeliest breakout player in all of NBA. This is a very young team that looks like it's only getting better by the day, and that championship window might run for the next 5 years or more if they can keep moving in this direction. But another contender rising right now are the Lakers. LeBron's return might actually make them one of the most dangerous teams in the NBA right now. And if you want to see why, then you can go check that full breakdown video